Hi everyone, this is Linda from Overbrook Quilt Connection, and welcome to day 8 of Moda's Stitch Pink. Today our block is called Fly Away Home, and with a name like that you can just guess that there's going to be some flying geese in it. So once again I'm going to move my camera down so you can see what I've got on my board today. All right, we are doing flying geese that are unfinished size. That means the size they are right now of 2 by 3.5. And again, you are welcome to use your own method for making geese that finish or that are cut to that size. But I'm going to, of course, go through the way Moda has done the pattern. They have you start with 4 1/4 inch squares that you cut on the diagonal twice to make your triangles. Then you should take 2 3/8 inch background squares and cut them once on the diagonal to make your triangles to put on either side. And as usual, you will line them up with the triangle up with the bottom edge of the big end of your triangle to sew your seams. And then I squared them up using my wing clipper 1, which I have shown. Whoops, you're not going to be able to see that very well because it's a clear ruler. But I used my wing clipper 1 to square them up, and I showed you that on a previous video, so I'm not going to go through that again. You're going to end up making 6 of the dark flying geese, and I don't know if you can see the sparkle. We used this sparkly red, and our background has a little bit of sparkle in it, and I just love it. Then you're going to take a medium fabric and do exactly the same thing. We used a two-tone pink, and again, you will make the exact same method, exact same size, and you'll make 6 of the pink and background. Okay, you'll have 2 triangles left of each color, and for these we're going to make our center quarter square triangle block. So you start by taking each of your triangles and sewing them together along one of the short edges, and you want them to become opposite, or laid out opposite of each other, the colors. Then you press them to the dark, and by doing that then you have opposing seams when you sew this center seam. When you do that, of course, you'll nest those together like usual. And I try to pin those, pin that, and I pin it out here on the end. You're going to sew that seam, and then you're going to square that up. That will be squared up to 3.5 inches when you're done. All right, then the last pieces we do are we have these big dark triangles and big background triangles, and we sew those together to make half square triangles. You're going to square those up to 5 inches. So again, if you want to use your own method to make half square triangles that end up at 5 inches, not finished, but as they are right now, 5 inches, and you'll have 4 of those. All right, I'm going to proceed a little bit farther with this block, and then I'll come back and show you the next steps. All right, I have the center quarter square triangle sewn now, and I'm going to show you how to square it up. I'm using it's called a fussy cut ruler, and it's from Quilt in a Day. Comes in a set of multiple sizes, but there's some standard sizes that are in the set. This one's the 3.5 one. I'm going to show you how it works. There are lines across it that come out into the four corners. So you line up those lines on the seams, and then you just trim. Sorry, let me finish lining that up right. And when you're cutting with it, you're going to need to have a finger or two off of it, off of the ruler onto your mat, so it doesn't want to twist on you. But then, you know, you turn it around and line it up again. I'm going to show you also how to do it with your regular ruler. So you will line the 3.5 inches up with the outside edge, and you need, it would be 1 and sorry, I'm lining it up here. I didn't mean to pause on you. Okay, so you'll have the 1 3/4 inch line lined up across your center. And then your 45-degree line will be along your seam. And of course, make sure that, you know, your 3.5 inches comes all the way out to those lines. Since I've already trimmed these two sides, I'm just trimming the remaining two sides. So now we have a squared up 3.5 half square triangle, and as you can see, the seams come down into the points very nicely. Okay, now I have sewn our flying geese into sets of 3, and when you're sewing them, the center triangle is called the goose, and this is called the sky. I'm assuming that's because the geese fly in formation. But when you're sewing the base of the goose to the point of another goose. And when you do that, you want your seam line to go right through where those stitches, those previous stitch lines, cross. And that will make your goose point not be cut. You won't cut off your goose point that way. This, you can tell this one, there's a tiny bit of space in between it and the next block. They call that floating a little bit. So if your goose floats, that's better than having it sewn in too deep and have the point be a flat point. Okay, so we've got 2 sets of 3 of each of the dark and the medium, and we're going to lay out our block with the large half square triangles that we made. And those, let me see if I have enough room to lay this out so you can see it. We are going to have the center, and you want your geese to be the points going towards the outer edge of the block. We're going to have the medium ones in the center row, and you notice the center is done with the dark towards the lighter and the lights towards the dark. And then these will be the remainder. So this is how our block lays out. I will finish sewing it together. I'll come back and show you the completed block. I have finished the block. Again, this is block 8, Fly Away Home. And I'm going to show you the back of it to see, so you can I'll kind of give you a few tips when you're piecing it. when you're sewing the half square triangles to this center, these seams here are pretty thick. So go slow as you go over them, so it, otherwise the seam will kind of try and get wonky on you a little bit. Also, I pressed all these seams towards the point of the goose, flying geese. Make sure you have your reds going towards the center and your half square triangles. And again, the light geese are towards the dark in the center quarter square triangle. So good luck with block 8. I think it's a very pretty block, and I hope you enjoy making your block as well. I will see you tomorrow for block 9.